I'm Ashton, and this is my week recapped. Uh, Spoilers for Speak No Evil, if you want to see that. I thought it was a brilliant movie, even if it is just a remake of a movie that's not even 3 years old. That's fine. Uh, if you don't know what it's about, very much recommend just going and looking up the trailer or a plot synopsis. Um, but I just wanted to talk about. I have two lines in this movie that are just my favorite of the whole film, and that is "because you let us" and "fuck her." The "because you let us," yeah, both lines I really like because of the meaning that they have within the context of the film. The whole movie, the main two characters are made uncomfortable by James McAvoy. Yes, that's right. I don't know the characters' names, and I don't even know the actors' names except for James McAvoy. So the main two characters are just made uncomfortable by James McAvoy and his wife the whole time, and all they ever do is give each other weird glances and being like, "Why don't you say something? I don't want to be rude." And so James McAvoy pushes harder and harder, like takes them out to dinner, and whenever he's like, "Oh, that's a hefty price," and the main male character says, "Oh, no, no, we couldn't possibly let you," and James McAvoy goes, "Oh, really? Thank you," and hands him the check, and then him and his wife leave, like just because they were trying to not be rude, they were trying to be polite, and James McAvoy just took advantage of that. And that happens a lot during this movie where James McAvoy is just overstepping boundaries and nobody calls him on it. And so at the end of the movie, near the end, they're all like tied up and he asks James McAvoy, "Why are you doing this to us?" And he said, "Because you let us. Like, you didn't stand up to us the whole time. You were just being all fake. You weren't telling us how you were feeling. Of course, like, why wouldn't we? We can, you know?" And then the other line, "fuck her," was because James McAvoy's wife, once they get the drop on them and they switch the tides, she's like, "No, I was his first victim. I was your daughter's age when he first took me. Please, he'll hurt me if you leave me alone with him." And this is after she does a bunch of like heinous shit, like literally is holding a gun in their face. And then she's like, "Maybe this time, like, we'll be a good, happy family." And James McAvoy's like, "Yeah, she's the one that had us start trying to get kids." So they lock her in a room with him, and then the male character just says, "Fuck her, let's go." And I don't know. It was just really funny. Again, out of context, it's probably not as funny as it was in context. Let me see. There we go. Yeah, you see my Naruto shirt. But yeah, I just really like those two lines. And I like the film as a whole. I wrote something else. Main two characters aren't just dealing with the film's plot, but their own issues that we don't even get to see. Yeah, so not only are they dealing with James McAvoy and all his bullshit, but also prior to the film that we never get to see. But I assume that maybe that's why they're on this vacation. Um, the wife was sexting with a father of I think it was a father of one of their daughter's friends. They said something about the school, so that's just what I'm thinking. But yeah, and she cheated, sexting, and he's like, "Ah, you think I wanted to see another man's dick on my wife's phone?" And she's like, I'm sorry." And so they're trying to rekindle, and they're dealing with this other stuff. So it's just kind of nice that it's not like, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I liked it. And I've only seen it once. With a lot of movies, with all movies, I like to see them more than once if I like them. That way I can pick up on stuff that I didn't notice the first time. So I definitely need to see this movie again. But anyway, also what I've been doing this week, though it's been past like 2, 3 weeks, I don't think any more than that, but I've been doing a Harry Potter rewatch. I made it to number 6. Well, I finished number 6. I need to watch 7 and 8. I'm doing this rewatch because I just got letterboxed. I got letterboxed in August. yeah, I got Letterboxd, and now I'm just rewatching every movie I've ever seen so that I can give it a rate and review. So I'm up at the Harry Potter movies, and let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with this. Perfectly fine if you disagree. Everyone has their own opinion, and this is just mine. So I would call the first one, Sorcerer's Stone. I gave that 3 stars. I thought it was good. It was whimsical, fantastical, but still kind of like kiddie a little bit. Like everything was super bright, which I liked, which I'm gonna get into that later. Everything was super bright. There wasn't a whole lot of magic, really. Like not a whole lot of wand use. The acting, not good from the kids. But again, they're kids, so they're like 10 to 12 years old, so I don't really blame them. And it does get better. Unfortunately, not yet, because the second one, Chamber of Secrets, 2.5. Now, for me, a 2.5 is average, mid, not good, not bad. And that's what I think Chamber was. I was enjoying the passage of time, but I wasn't really invested in the story. And I think this is the plot that is the most not interesting. I hate to say that. I really hate to say that. I didn't find it interesting. And it's Jenny's like first time, and Jenny is not a good actor, and she doesn't really improve that much as the films go on. But yeah, I just didn't love Chamber. I would say maybe my favorite part was the section where Harry gets sucked into the diary. But yeah, that was probably my favorite part. Just that, like the past, which I also like that in Half-Blood Prince, which I'll get to. But yeah, the third one, Prisoner of Azkaban, major step up, going from a 2.5 to a 3.5 now. I really liked this, thought it was great. Love the werewolf shit. I love werewolves, so always cool to see more like hints at Voldemort. Still don't really see them, but like Wormtail was really cool. I love that scene when they're in I don't even know where that is, really. They're in that one room, and Sirius and Regulus, Remus turned Wormtail from a rat back into his human form. I really like that scene. And then Snape comes in. It's a good scene. I'm not a big fan of the time travel stuff, but that's just because I don't like time travel in general, I never really have. Even in Avengers Endgame, I was very disappointed. I'm going off topic. I do that a lot. I have a lot of thoughts in here. But yeah, so Prisoner of Azkaban, 3.5. Thought it was great. Goblet of Fire, down to a 3. Still good, but I don't know. The main reason for me is their looks. I don't like their hair. The Harry and Ron. That might be a, not vain. Help me. Contrived? No. Stupid. Might be a stupid reason to dock the points of this movie. But yeah, I just don't like the hair. Like all of the movies, they have generally the same kind of hairstyle, except for Goblet of Fire. It's different. And I don't like that it's different, I don't like change very much. But I loved Cedric Diggory, Robert Pattinson, he's great. I just feel maybe we could have used more scenes with him. Maybe more, like with Harry would have been really cool. And I've only read the first 2 books. I've completed the first 2 books, and I read about half of the 3rd book when I was younger. And I haven't really gone back. So I can't really speak to these movies as a book reader. Like, I only read the first 2, and that was back when I was like 8 or 9, Yeah, I don't love Goblet of Fire, I'm gonna be honest. I like it though. Because that's the thing. All these movies are generally pretty good. So that's why, like, I don't like Goblet of Fire. It's still a 3, They're still good. It's just not as good as the others. Order of the Phoenix. This was my favorite as a kid. I gave it 3.5. I think it deserves that. It's pretty great. I like it. I don't love the prophecy stuff. That's kind of where I get a little lost near the end. But all the Umbridge stuff is great. She's a bitch. um, don't get mad at me for calling a woman a bitch. But yeah, that she was the best part of that movie, I think. Like whenever I was a kid watching this movie for the first time, in that scene, whenever she has Harry write out the "I must not tell lies," and then just like he starts doing that, and then like the words appear on his hand. That was like that freaked the fuck out of me when I was younger. So yeah, Order of the Phoenix always has a special place in my heart. Dumbledore's army, like that little training montage, I thought it was great. And then number 6, Half Blood Prince. That I think is going to be my new favorite movie over Order of the Phoenix. I actually just rewatched that a day or two ago, and I thought that was superb. You know, I think I don't know. I think because when I was younger, I might have just forgotten about Half Blood Prince because before I rewatched it, I genuinely thought I wasn't gonna like it that much. But a lot of the scenes, I was watching it and I was like, "That's in this movie?" Because I had I guess I just mushed Half Blood Prince into the Deathly Hallows, and so I had just forgotten. Like Snape being the Half Blood Prince, I was like, "What is him?" It's the whole movie. I was like, "Oh, it's probably Voldemort." I don't remember, but it's probably Voldemort. And then that reveal happened, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Just really cool. Snape killing Dumbledore was cool. Always loved being able to see Dumbledore be a badass. That's why I loved Order of the Phoenix when I was a kid. That ending battle between him and Voldemort was super cool. And then in Half Blood Prince, when they're in the cave and Dumbledore does his fire shit, that was really cool. It was a little, I guess it felt a little lackluster that they did all that, and then the Horcrux wasn't even real. It was stolen by Sirius's older brother. So I was a little like, well, damn, like they did all that, and Dumbledore almost died, and Harry got dragged into the lake for nothing, But I get it. It's a setup for the next one. Like whatever. I prefer standalone movies over like a sequence. I like for a movie to be able to stand on its own, and I guess this one still does. Just not as much. I think Slughorn is probably my favorite like teacher focus of the whole series. You had Quirrell, you had Lockhart, I think, the guy that directed the Thor movie. I'm pretty sure that was him, Lockhart. Umbridge, I don't know, because I do love I don't like Umbridge. I love Umbridge as a character, but as a person, I don't like her. But Slughorn, I don't like him as a person. I don't know. He just wasn't as annoying as Umbridge was. But I kind of liked that about. I like them for different reasons. Umbridge and Slughorn I'll give them a tie, But yeah, just the way that Slughorn, like his opening scene of being in that chair, and him wanting to collect students, I just thought that was very interesting instead of him just being, oh yeah, I'm a teacher, I liked that aspect of his character. I didn't write it. I just wrote what I like about movies and the stuff I'm going to talk about. So a lot of this is off the cuff, and I'm not going to edit it because I don't know how to do that, and I don't want to learn because, like I said, I don't like change. So we're just going to keep rocking with it. I'm at 14 minutes. I think that's fine. Last thing, I'm also doing like I said, I'm rewatching movies. I'm starting to rewatch the MCU movies, and I've watched Iron Man and Incredible Hulk so far. And this is the last thing I'm going to talk about because that's all I've really done this past week, except go to work. But so Iron Man, amazing. It was a lot. Oh, before I get into this, I'll go ahead and tell you. Speak No Evil, I gave a 3-star. I might make it a 3.5. I'm very conflicted. Like I said, I like to rewatch movies, so I would need to rewatch Speak No Evil in order to give it the correct film rating. But yeah, 3 or 3.5, I don't know. But yeah, Iron Man, amazing. 4 stars, Iron Man. That was so cool. I really don't like that his origin is like 30 minutes long. It might be more than that. I'm just guessing. Like, oh my God, it went on for so long. In the comic, because I'm a comic book lover, I have over 1,000 comic books in my living room. The origin is like 3 pages max. Like, why are we spending so? And this is a problem I have with the Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies too. He doesn't become Spider-Man until over halfway through the movie. He doesn't actually put the suit on until over halfway through the movie, And I'm just like, what is this? Like, we're supposed to be Spider-Man, And then we're just following Peter Parker the whole time. So that's just one thing I don't love. I guess the only exception would be Batman Begins by Chris Nolan. That's the only one where I'm like, yeah, let's drag out this origin. Like, it was very cool. But yeah, in this one, I just wasn't loving it, in the cave and all that stuff. I wanted it to be done with. And then I became transfixed again whenever he was building the actual suit. See, if that was the portion that was long, I would have been fine with it. But the fact whenever he was just in a cave with Jensen, I don't really care about Jensen, It looked really dirty in there. I think that might be my main issue. I hate being dirty, and it looked so gross in there. And so I was very much just like, very, very put off by that. But yeah, great movie. Obadiah Stane, Jeff Bridges. Love the scene where he hits his own tie and it like hits himself in the face. They left that in the movie. So funny. What else can I say? Iron Man looks great. Like, the CGI looks great. It was mostly practical. I mean, it was 2007 when they made it. And the red really pops, which I love. Oh, yeah, that was a problem I had with the later Harry Potter movies. As they go on, they get more and more gray. Like, the first two are super colorful, and then from 3 on, it's just a gray filter. And Iron Man, super bright, super colorful. The red and gold, they pop, and I love that. And it doesn't last, because as the Marvel movies go on, everything starts to get more and more gray. And there is a reason. It's just because, in the first movies, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, they all have like one main color, and it's easy to shift the color scale around to complement that color, make that color pop. But then, like the Avengers, Civil War, all that shit, when you have all these heroes on screen at the same time and they all have distinct colors, there is no color scale that you can have that makes each of them pop in their own way. So if you can't make each of them look good, the only other alternative is to make each of them just look the same. If everyone's special, no one is. That type of shit. So they have it be grayscale, and that So watch Civil War again. Spider-Man is so dull compared to Spider-Man: Homecoming. I mean, even Iron Man, Captain America doesn't even look like he's in a blue suit. Whatever. I digress. Incredible Hulk. They made him really hot in that movie. Like, it was unsettling how attracted I felt to Hulk in that movie. And this is the only one, because this is the Edward Norton Hulk. But the Mark Ruffalo Hulk after him, no, I don't like it. And then the Eric Bana Hulk before him, I don't feel this way about either of those Hulks. But the Edward Norton Hulk, I'm like, damn. Like, and it was one specific scene that I felt this way. It was the scene whenever he rescues Betty away, and he's in the desert, and he's in a cave, and it's raining. And CGI always looks better when it's, wet. I mean, look at the Aquaman movies. That, like, slickness, you're able to get a better shine off of it. It just looks, I don't know. I'm not a VFX artist, but it just looks better whenever there's something glistening off it, And so it's nighttime. That helps. So he's like all wet from the rain, and then like the CGI looked great. And then I'm just like, those muscles, like all those tendons. I'm like, let me just run my fingers through those tendons like they're rivers, And then also he was really cute because he's like looking at Betty, and then lightning strikes behind him, and he like jumps and he turns around and he like yells at the sky and then picks up a rock and throws it at the sky, and it's so funny. It's like, oh, did you get spooked, buddy? And then even Betty comes up and is like, it's okay, it's just the thunder. It was really funny. So that, and then at the end of the movie, when Abomination is like, let's fight, Hulk is like he just has a little like, really? And that was also really cute. I liked that. Because in the later, all the other stuff with Hulk, they don't give him little moments like that. The only one I can think of is in Avengers, whenever Cap is like, Hulk, smash. And he's like, you know? But other than that, there's like, they don't give him any personality. He's just there. And I don't like that. I also, because the movies, the way they kind of do Hulk is where it's like, oh, it's just Bruce Banner, but dumb. And it's like, well, no. Like, Hulk is a person, Bruce Banner is a person, and they just share the space at the same time, where it's either Banner or it's Hulk. But they're not the same person, you know? And I don't like whenever, because it's the thing they do. I'm at 20 minutes. I got nothing else to say. I'm gonna rant on this for a little bit because this pisses me off. Because there's some news that came out from the director of the Penguin show where he's talking about Clayface. And Clayface, if you don't know, is kind of like Sandman from the Spider-Man movies, except he's made out of clay. Duh. And he's a big sludge monster that can shapeshift into other people. And he was like, oh yeah, I'd love to see like a grounded take on Clayface where he's like a makeup artist. That's not fucking Clayface then. Like, oh, I'd love to see a take on the Hulk where whenever he gets angry, he just wants to fight people, but he doesn't actually turn into a green monster. I think that would be more grounded. It's like, yeah, but that's not the Hulk. Like, you're taking because, I mean, yeah, it's comic books. They're dumb a little bit, dumb concepts. But then you can't take the dumb out of it because then it's not a comic book concept anymore, you know? What if it's Batman? But they actually did this, so that's why it's hard for me to... What if it's Batman, but instead of traveling the world, he's just trained by his butler? Because that's what they did in the Robert Pattinson movie. He didn't travel the world learning from the best martial artists all over the globe. He just got trained by his butler. How is that more grounded? Like, I don't know. That just bothers me. And then this is also off the heels of... They changed Oswald, the Penguin, they changed his last name from Cobblepot to Cobb to make it more grounded. And I'm just like, oh my God, you know? It's like with the Joker movie. It's like, no, he didn't fall into a vat of acid that permanently scarred both his body and mind. He's just a little silly sometimes, you know? he got beaten. And, you know, he has a condition where he laughs uncontrollably. And it's like, okay, well, that's not really Joker, though. Like, that's a cool original character. But studios don't have faith in original concepts anymore. It has to have an IP attached. So they were just like, oh, well, that's a cool story. No one's going to see it, though. So why don't you call that Joker? So that's just something that bothers me. You got me started. Don't do that. Don't get me started. All right. Under 30 minutes, I think this is fine. I think it's a good place to stop. I talked about everything I liked. Harry Potter going gray. That's not something I liked. Oh yeah, last thing. In the Hulk movie, they gave him gray pants. They may be brown. Fuck you. Like, he has purple pants because he's green. Green and purple complement. So like they have their colors for a reason. They pop together. They complement each other. But then they're like, oh, someone wearing purple pants? Like, no, that's too comic booky. Yeah, it's a comic book movie. You can't, like, that's like if you're trying to adapt Harry Potter and you're like, let's take the wands out. That's too silly. Then don't adapt it if you don't like that, you know? Like, it's like they're ashamed to be doing a comic book movie, so they're trying to make it as serious as possible so that the general audience doesn't make fun of them for a comic book movie, you know? It's just, it aggravates me. You got me monologuing. All right. But yeah, that's all I've really been through this past week. Today's my day off from work. That's why I'm making this. I'll probably watch... Deathly Hallows Part 1. Might watch another Marvel movie, maybe Iron Man 2. Not super hyped about that. I already know. I feel like here are my guesses. I don't know if they're gonna be true. Deathly Hallows Part 1, I'm thinking I'll give it a 3. Maybe a 3.5. I don't know. And then Iron Man 2, a little lower. I'm thinking either a 2.5 or a 3. But I need to watch them, and then I need to make my review and all that. But yeah, if you're watching this, I'm making this more for me as like a journal entry than I am for like other people. But if you are somehow come up across this and you're watching this, let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of my ratings. Respectfully, please. My feelings will get hurt. But yeah, any of these movies, tell me if you would give it a different rating and why. I like to talk. I like to read. I just like information. So let me know. I need to pick that up now. Okay. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna go watch Harry Potter. So thank you for watching.